Good evening, Steph.
Hola.
How are you? Hola. Hola. How you doing?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, happy to put this season to bed. It's been a tough one. It's been a tough one.
It's been a tough watch. It's been a tough watch. Someone was saying, like, I don't know if I can say this early on. Maybe it's been 10 seconds now. A tough wank. What am I saying?
There goes
the monetization, guys.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean the watch along must have been brutal as well with that Roma game.
It was long. It was long, but people turned up, so it was good. So yeah. We're here.
We've made it.
Thought, almost at the end of the season. We're recording this obviously just after the Roma game. So we still have. Is it not Cagliari? Who we play? Monza last game.
Yeah, home against Monza, but
home Monza. So, but anyway, we thought it was a good time. Steph suggested a great idea that we look at the squad and we just do our overall score of each player. So start with goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, attackers. That's the plan. So Steph, without further ado, my friend, crack on. Unless you want to add any more context. Your goalkeeper rating of the season.
Dog just started barking. He's just like immediately heard about reviewing players, and he was like, "Let me chime in. Let me give these players all 5s out of 10s." I mean, like, I think we're just I'm happy the season's over. It was not. You're not actually happy because it's concerning what's ahead, and so we spoke about lots of questions, more than answers for the road ahead, and it's just been such a poor year, and a bit of me is kind of like, I guess I am somewhat looking forward to going through this squad, but a bit of me also kind of is like looking through this squad. I think we'll have individually kind of actually find ourselves quite disappointed in what should have been a good season. But man, happy to go straight into it, man. Happy to start with the goalkeepers. So Magic Mike, Magnon.
Out of 10, right?
Out of 10, yeah. I recall on many streams me and you were talking about it's probably been his second best season after the Scudetto one.
Yeah.
Because of he kept himself fit, which has been very important.
Only the second season he's done that as well. Ironically, that was the second season.
Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's been some goals where he's been at fault, and in a sense, like, should have just picked up the near post. And I just think we've been such a calamity as a unit. There's only so much blame I can put on him. I don't think you look back in any game. I can't think of any game from this season and gone like, oh, because of his fuck up, we lost the game. There might be one. I just can't think of it at the moment. Very much the opposite to like many other players, which we'll come on to. Because of that, and also taking the captaincy, I think he's actually been one of the few shining lights. I'll go over 7. I'll go over 7 with Mike.
Yeah. All right, that's a fair score. I like. I'm around that as well. Mike had some rough patches this season, and his rough patches for me culminated into one glaring weakness of his game that he has that I think gotten worse, and also at the same time hasn't gotten better, and also by default that's been bad because he hasn't developed. Is his near post. It's been really, really obvious this season how many goals he conceded near post, which is completely his fault. However, taking away that isolated issue, he's been fit this season, like you said. He's had some incredible saves. He's been in front of probably the worst Milan defense we've had in like 5 or 6 years, I would say. And I think he's been fantastic. And he's also had that leadership quality. Now, we're taking aside, obviously, all the contractual stuff because it's not relevant here. We're talking about on-the-field performance. So I'm not going to add that in because that's a different issue. But I would also agree, I might even, if we're going to give points, like as in point score, I might give him a slight higher, like a 7.3. I don't know if I can give points, but I'm going to do 7.
I think we're going to have to round up. We're going to have to go over the 7.5 or 7.
All right, 7.5 for Mike then.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think then around that's fair. He's also is a constantly shifting back line as well, which is not, that's not a goalkeeper's dream to deal with, is it? When it's a back 3 or back 4, and every time that back 4 shapes up as different centre backs, it's man. Cool. Right, we'll move on to the other backup keeper, Marco Sportiello. I can't really give this guy too much of a review. I mean, because of Mike being fit so much, and that's a good thing. We've seen minimal activity from Spotty. I'm probably going to go down the middle. I'm going to go for a 5. Yeah, I can't.
I'm
really
going to move on quickly with that and completely agree because I've got not really much to say. So
has Togliani played? I don't know if he's played.
He has. He played definitely one game, and he actually played really well.
Okay.
But I can't remember the other game. I think it was, and he made like 3 or 4 saves in the second half. He was quite good.
He did concede a really shit goal. I remember.
He did. But he made some great saves.
Yeah. It was a Sassuolo game. We beat him like 6-1. Yeah. Look, I'll go for a 5 again. Still at a start. I think he's got a contract renewal coming up, and hopefully a longer career at Milan ahead.
I'll give him a 5.5 just because I thought he was good when he came on.
Sweet. All right. Defense. I think this is where we start getting a bit more meatier. So for Kaya Tomori, I'm gonna go for. Shit. I'm probably gonna go for a 6, man. So thick. Yeah.
Interesting.
I can't go any higher than 6, man. I just think he hasn't developed, man, and as well, he's had some moments where he's been capable. I just think he's still rash with his challenges. He still gets caught out in the air. And there's some performances, he completely led us to lose him. Like I can't get over like him attempting to header the ball against Fiorentina, and then they've got 2-on-1 from like a goal kick. It's crazy, but I mean 6, man. To be honest, I might I could even go down to 5.5. But I'll go for 6.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't, because this is the first time we disagree. In the sense that I'm going lower. I think he's been a 5, flat 5.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's been one of the worst seasons we've had with him in. He's had probably 2 games. I remember he's played well in. I think he played. Did he play against Real Madrid? I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he did. Yeah.
He played well in that game, and there was another game he played well. I think it was also the Champions League. And honestly,
there were games in the Super Cup. I think he
it was the Super Cup. I think that was it. It was definitely in a cup. It was in a cup competition.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's really good. The rest of the time, he's been in and out of the team, and I don't think that's just been because of the manager mix-up. I think that's because he's been out of form. And when he's come in, pretty much 9 times out of 10, he's been really average. He can't deal under pressure very well. He hasn't developed that ability to play the ball at all. I think his positioning's got worse. So
I think he's peaked, man. I think he's peaked
for a 5.
Like he's a solid centre back. At the best of times, I think what we thought he was going to be. I think that's long gone now.
And again, his score 5 reflects the fact that he's a better player than that, right? You know what I mean? Even more from my end.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. I think it's kind of like what they're typically expected to do. Equally, I've had in the past, and I think that's going to be very much a common theme for a lot of these players. Actually, we're going to come on to. So, cool. Malik Chow. I will go for. 3 own goals this year? I mean, he has. I want to say he's developed his defensive game. He couldn't be any worse than last year. He was getting caught out quite a lot, but I can't go any higher than. Than a 6. And once again, I could go for a 5.5. I'm probably going to go for. I'm probably going to go for a 6, man. Again, once again, this is the thing with these centre backs. We did a video on who our best centre back pairing was a couple months ago, didn't we? And it was like that was when optimism was very high, and I don't want to go too far away from that. But Chow's got the making to be a good player, but has not seen much regular football towards the end of the season. So, I'll go for a 6, man. Go for a 6.
Okay. I'm a big fan of Chow. I think he's a really good centre back, and the 3 own goals is quite damning. However, if you look at them again in isolated incidents, at least 2 of them were genuinely either bad luck or awful defending before him. And I still think he's our most talented centre back that we have. I think his passing is fantastic. When we do not have him in the team, our passing is significantly worse, especially through balls in behind, which he can provide. However, I would want to have given him a 6.5, but because he's been out of the team recently, and when he has played, he's been good but not dominant enough to be like, oh my god, he's been fantastic. I agree. I think it's 6 as well. Yeah,
Cool.
Chow, and that hurts me because I like him.
Cool. Strahinja Pavlovic, first season for Milan.
Interesting.
Look, I mean, some people aren't a fan of the lack of technique to his game. He's a bit of a rhino, a ball in a china shop. Puts a fucking 120%. I mean, I think you have to ask yourself, if you're sitting here going, why isn't Chow or Tomori or, getting games over this guy? Ask yourself, they've been there for those years. Pavlovic has come in. If they're so fucking good, why is he getting so many minutes? Like, it's not like because these two coaches got a fetish over him. It's because he clearly shows something, and he had a very good period of form in the middle of the year where he showed incredible tenacity to win the ball back, and he does get caught out quite a lot. He's still very young. He's actually joint youngest centre back we have next to Malik Chow. So it's not like a Tomori situation where he's in his prime and, he obviously needs to work on his IQ. But I think from a work rate perspective and physicality wise, he's got a lot to his game. I'm going to go for a 6 though. Once again, can't go any higher because I just think there's not much that separates these centre backs personally.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I actually disagree with you on this one. I was really excited with Pavlovic. Well, actually, no, I wasn't. But I was really happy when we got him because I thought, yeah, Salzburg, Red Bull, he had potential. He came off a really good season. He's got amazing attributes physically in the modern game to be a top centre back. However, other than Grinter, which is really important, he's probably got some of the most in the team. I actually don't think he's a very good defender. I think he's a very good last-ditch defender. From what I've seen, I'm happy to give him another season. I'm also happy if we sell him. I don't mind. And that's also a common theme with a few of our centre-backs, I think, as well. But yeah, I think for me, Pavlovic, he is a bull in a china shop, and I don't really I like his burst in his running, when he runs, but that's usually when the team has got absolutely no other hope and the bloke just thinks, fuck it, I'm going to do it myself, head down and runs. That I don't want that from my centre back.
No, so yeah, I get that. I still think it's commendable when he does that because it's and that's what gave him such high praise because it was
5.5 for me.
Yeah, you got 5.5. Fair play. Cool. Yeah. All right, sweet. Matteo Gabbia. He's probably a centre back I'll go with the highest from this pack. I'm going to go over 7 because I think it's improvement in his game compared to. You think about it, a year and a half ago, we brought him back from Villarreal on a loan deal.
Yeah,
I didn't have much high hopes for him on his Milan future. Now his comeback had kind of had a decent end to last season where he played a little bit into it, but then you kind of thought once again, all right, he's going to be lowest in the pecking order. We brought Pavlovic. And, he's had some fantastic moments. Obviously scored the winner against Inter in the derby. And he's been, regardless of formation, he's been always there and always selected, always available. And I also think there's things that I can't help but praise him for. He's the one player consistently you'll find in front of the microphone after defeats and losses. He shows good captain tendencies. And regardless if you don't think he's the best player on the pitch or excites you the most, or maybe has the highest ceiling, he is someone that understands the shirt, and I think that's something right now in this very moment we need. So I could actually go higher. I could go for a 7.5, but I think I just can't due to the defensive issues we had this year. So I'll go for a 7, which for me is still quite respectable because we're going to get onto a lot worse scores coming on.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said, especially his character and how he speaks. And I think he's kind of become a bit of a silent leader. He's become louder and louder. So I'm not going to give him a 7 though. I'm going to give him a 6.5 because I don't think any of our defenders deserve a 7, basically. So yeah.
Cool. All right. Theo Hernandez. This will be a contentious one, I think.
Yes.
I'm going to go for a 5.5. I've just not been happy with him. And I know people can say, all right, how much effort can you give when... I don't know. There's this battle of players being professional and equally, versus the club, which is obviously run to shit right now. But it's still just kind of This is the worst I've seen him in. This is and we talk about this guy being the best centre back in the world, and that's the thing. If the bar's high up there and you're giving up that from seasonal output, I think it's shocking. I could equally go for a 5, but I'm going to go for a 5.5 because he's had moments. But expect more, and I don't know. This might be his last year with us, but sad way to end it this way. To be fair.
Yeah, I'm going a similar vein, but a lot harsher. I think Teo's season's been a 4. I don't think he deserves anything higher than a 4. I will be leaning on the logic of, again, I expect more from him type situation. However, when you really, again, look at every individual error, every incident that's happened this season on and off the pitch, and when I say off the pitch, I mean literally the water break. I'm not talking the other stuff. I'm saying it's not good enough. He's not acting like a professional, and I think it's sad. Even though I think the club's let him down, he has also let the club down, and he's let the fans down, and he's going to leave in a very sad way. And this is me saying him as my favourite Milan player of the past half century. He has been my favourite player. I even thought he was our banderia, our capitano over Tonali when we had Tonali. I really thought Teo was the guy. Yeah. But no, he's a 4. It's been awful, and it's sad because he's likely going to go, and it's not going to be a nice end.
Oh, and he also had that obviously horrendous moment in the final game, didn't he? When he got a double yellow.
It's a 4.
Pretty much cost us the Champions League next round.
It's a 4.
Yeah. Fair. As I think of it, I might drop mine down to a 5, but I'll just do 5.5. Fuck it. Cool. Alex Jimenez. I'm going to go for a 7. Really like this season. I think he's got a lot of potential. Only 20 years old. I'm really happy that he's ended the season getting such regular football compared to the other right backs we'll come on to. Gives us someone to build off. I would if we, regardless if it's a back four or a back 3 with a wing back, I think he's an assured starting spot for me. I think we need to stick with a player like him. Once again, a lot of hard work, a lot of grit, can develop his his final third game, but and also play multiple positions. He's played left wing, right wing back, right back. We need people like him in the squad. So 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna to move it on as well. I don't disagree everything you said. So 7 as well for Jimenez. Actually, I said no defender should get a higher than a 7, but I'm counting him more as that sort of right winger, more right wing back type role. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Emerson Royale. I will go for a 3. I know it could be more extreme, but just
I think a straight 3. He's just a 3, isn't he?
Nothing more to say, man.
Yeah,
but we're even more comical as a club. The fact that we fucked up.
Signed the fucking
Carl Walker. I'll go for a. I'm not gonna let that cup final game. Like, he came in and I thought he was relatively solid. I'm gonna go for a 5. Once again, expectations are higher. I'm not going to throw him in the same kind of tier as Emerson Royale. I think let's not be stupid with this. Obviously not great. We expected a lot more. But I would say once in that period between February and March, I think we were still getting something out of him. So I'll go for a 5.
Okay.
What do you think for Walker?
I also think a 5, and I think the thing he's let me down the most is I didn't actually expect much of him as a footballer, but I expect a little bit. And I know he doesn't speak Italian and all the rest of it, but I did expect a little bit more of his experience and leadership skills to come through, and they didn't. So 5,
cool. Filippo Terracciano played all over the park this year, didn't he? Played a bit of right back, left back, centre mid. I mean, I can't fault the kid for getting around the pitch and finding minutes where he can. I don't know where his future lies with Milan. He's only 22 still. I'll go for a 5. I'll go for a 5. Even he put a lot of work in. There's not much there in the sense of quality. So,
yeah. I agree on the quality statement. I'm going to give him a 5.5 because of Italian tax, but I don't think he's Milan quality. But I also don't think he's been massively harmful to the team, as opposed to a Musa, who we're going to get onto very soon.
Florenzi hasn't played a minute, so we'll skip past him. Yusuf Fofana.
So we're on the midfielders now, right? So the first of the midfielders,
look, he's put up a lot of good numbers from an assist perspective. He's played a lot of minutes, that's our club's fault for not, building in enough squad depth there. I'm going to go for a 6.5 for Yusuf Fofana.
6.5. Yeah, I'm actually going to go slightly lower. I'm going to go a 6. I don't think you can get any lower than that, but I also don't think he deserves close to a 7, which I know 6.5 is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like Fofana
came in.
Yeah. Fofana came in with, I think, quite decent expectation, actually. And I actually end the season feeling quite let down because I don't think we got the same player I felt was hyped or was expected. And I don't think he's going to get to that. Not that he's a bad player. I just don't think he's the solution that we thought he was going to be. I think he's been fine. His assists have been brilliant. He's played a lot of minutes, and he will be better if we get another midfielder, but we probably will just replace Reinders, who will get Souls. Don't want to go down that route. So, long story short, I think he's still very good, but this season he's been fine. Just fine.
I think we've helped him with the formation. I think the best of him would come kind of like Anguissa. Like you have a DM like Lobotka, and Anguissa's the guy who's the number 8.
Bit better in the box. He's got
but I mean, like,
from a scoring perspective, isn't he?
Anguissa's not a DM. He's a box to box.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, that's why I kind of say, like, we haven't helped him in that regard. I think the best can come if we can build the midfielder, around him, have a flat down DM, and if we can keep Reinders, and I mean, it's there staring us in the face. But speaking of Reinders, we'll come on to him. I have to go for like a 9, man.
9, agreed. Happy with a 9.
Incredible amount of goals. Obviously not great defensively. Like, he's not going to win the ball back well.
That's why midfielder statistics in Europe. So
I mean, it's crazy. I'm not giving him a 9.5, but it's only because of like the lack of defensive ability. So it is what it is. Yunus Musa. How low can I go? I will throw him into Emerson Royale bracket, mate. He's a 3 for me.
I'm going, mate. He's a 2er. He's a 2er.
Has he been? Is this second year or year 1?
Second year.
This
is a 2.5.
2.5.
This is a 2.5. This is chicken connoisseur getting some dead wings. I'm getting dead wings from the chicken shop.
Reheated wings.
And the chicken shop is Yunus Musa, and he's fucking awful. I honestly, I have to end it here and move on because you know how guys are.
We'll do another 20 minutes on Musa.
No, he's just not. Okay. He's not good enough.
I
like the bloke though. Can I not just say I think he comes across really nice and he's liked, but
I'm sure he'll stay because we won't find any buyers.
Right.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek, 4 for him for me. Injured for quite a lot of it. I used to defend him last year. He put up like 10 goals. I don't know if he scored a single goal this year, or maybe I don't know if he's got an assist.
I think he's got 1 or 2, 1 assist, maybe, definitely. Okay. Yeah, I think 1.
Yeah, like night and day with stats. Yeah. Once again, it's like you look at the midfield and the build. It's just like, I'm not even going to say him and Musa are victims of like the squad build, but they kind of are. But they're also equally have been shit. So it's kind of like, I'm going to go for, what did I say? 4 for you.
4. Spot on. I agree.
Cool. Warren Bondo. I'm tempted to go fucking NA for this guy because I've not seen him.
I think
a bit off the bench, a couple of starts, but then he had to come off at halftime because Moose had got him into fucking like got him. His fuck ups got him yellow cards. I'd go for like a 4.5 for Warren Bond. I just haven't seen enough of him, and I don't think when he came in,
I think a 4.
But I don't think when we signed him, my expectations was he's going to fix the midfield. I thought it was just like.
I thought there's a bit more about him though. A bit more about him, but we haven't seen a lot from him. So 4.5. One of that. That's fine.
Cool.
All right, into the attackers now, mate. Into the forwards. Right, big boy, Rafa. What are you giving Rafa? Come on, I think we might disagree here. What are you giving Rafa? I'm giving him my boy.
6.5. 6.5. No higher, no. And I don't think I can go any lower. The attack still goes through him. We're still one-dimensional in that regard. He hasn't developed his game. His finishing one-on-one isn't improving. It's you're probably getting like a fucking 20% conversion when he's one-on-one the keeper. Crossing's still great, dribbling's still great. Doesn't throw himself, doesn't take over the game enough as he should. But once again, he's surrounded by shit. So it's like, but this, well, I say that, but then this has probably been the best attack he can ever surround himself with. So it's, yeah, I mean, he's never going to crack on defensively. Yeah. But once again, I still see him as a player that we can't sell because I think we're going to regress so much. So yeah, 6.5. I expected more this year. I expect him to kick on with his finishing. Hasn't done that. I think he ends the season on double digits with goals and assists combined. But once again, he's still a provider more than a finisher. And if the game is made play, so if we play a team that allows you to not have to track back defensively because it's not part of your game, then put up more goals. It's simple as. I'm not going to baby him, man. I just simply can't. So 6.5.
Interesting. I might be in the minority here, and I think this might be a bit controversial. And I think my opinion has changed over the last few months that I could be described as a Leao sympathizer because I'm going 7.5 for this season. And for what I have come to peace with who he is as a player, as we did on a pub chat about 3 or 4 months ago, actually, I've come to terms with what I think Leao is as a player and what I expect from him. And the fact that he actually narrowly missed out on 20, he's got 18 goal and assists this season, which is still very solid. He's had at least 20 for the past 4 seasons, so this would be number 5.
Yeah,
a little bit more would have been good, but I put into context of the team. And I focus on one thing you said, where will we be without him? Which is a sad state of Milan. But where will we be without him? Yes, he missed the chances. Yes, I agree with you, Steph. He hasn't developed, but I'm not sure he ever will. So if I just look at him as a player, as what I think he is, I still think by far, if you talk about our forwards, you could probably argue Pulisic has been a bit better, but he's been not that much worse than Pulisic statistically. And we laud Pulisic. Do you know what I mean? So 7.5 for me this season.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Cool. Ricardo Sotil, very much like Warren Bondo. Haven't seen barely any of him. He's going to go back.
A bit more, though. Seen a bit more.
A little bit more, but he's playing at right wing back, and it's like,
4 for me. I'm going to go straight
4. Yeah. I mean, he's not going to be with us next year.
He's not going to
Christian Pulisic. I will go for... what did I go? Leao 6.5. I'm going to go for an 8 for Pulisic. Tremendous year from a goals perspective. I mean, he hasn't. Second half of the year, obviously much more deflating. He's been pretty poor since his injury in late December time. But pops up with goals, a reliant penalty taker. And Christ, we needed that this year because I don't want to talk about the Fiorentina game again. Yeah. I mean, like, good stats. He doesn't find himself. It's a weird one because he doesn't look like he's in the game. Just finds himself in that little pocket of space. Not in the final third, but just sort of between the halfway line and the final third. He just kind of grabs the ball, carries on possession, and then finds himself popping up with either good finishes or just as a nifty finisher in the box. And on the contrast to Leao, I think if you take his goals away, and we're in a lot worse of a situation as well. So yeah, I mean, tremendous season I think for him. His best season I think ever, statistically. Ever. So I'll go for an 8.
Yep, completely agree. He is. I think the last high score we'll be discussing today.
Yeah.
Deservedly scores an 8. I don't disagree with anything you said there. Been fantastic.
I got Jovic coming up. Don't worry. Sami Chukwueze.
Chuku.
Chuk de la Maison. I will go for a 5.5 for Chukwueze. Some goals. He scored a winner, didn't he? I think in the 3-2 game. I can't remember what that was against. Maybe Parma. I can't remember now. Yeah, like, I mean, it might be his last season with us. I can't go any higher. I probably can't go any lower. Has looked sometimes quite dangerous. Some goals, I think, I don't know if he's probably like around 5 goals, but
3 goals, 1 assist
in all comps.
Yep, I just looked. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll go for a 5.
Oh no, 5 goals. Sorry, yeah.
I was gonna say he got 2 in the Copper, I think, against Sassuolo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a 5.5 is probably going to be somewhere between 5 or 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going 5 because he just frustrates me as a dribbler. But yeah, let's move on.
Speaking of the frustrating dribbler, João Felix.
How low can you go? Who's going to get lower? You going first. You're showing your hand first.
I'll show my hand first. I will go for
low.
Because once again, this comes down to expectation.
Yep.
And I'm someone who really liked the signing at the time. Thought games was very dynamic. Threat up front. We all spoke about the magical front four between him, Leao, Jimenez, and Pulisic.
And also the Pulisic effect of like Chelsea reject, talented player, reigniting his career, needs to be loved.
He's trash, man. He's a 2.5 for me, man. 2.5.
Yes, 2.5. That's exactly what I was going for. Yeah, he can't be worse than Musa. I think he wasn't. Musa's the worst player, but again, Musa's not as hype a player as João Felix, and the expectation was never there. So don't get it twisted. Musa is very much last, but a 2.5 is fair.
João's my currently my lowest. I think we got opposite there. So I've got Musa at 3, but yeah, it's nothing, not much between them. But yeah, I mean, just bin him, man. Send him back to Chelsea. Nothing there,
Get
man.
rid of him.
Beyond those two, I guess like one-on-ones against like the tapping.
Both scored against Roma. He only scored against Roma.
Nothing there, man. Nothing there.
Funny guy.
Right. Good luck to him in his career. Santiago Jimenez. I was a bit critical about him yesterday, and I know it's a bit convenient because he got the red card, but he's new to his Milan career. Did I expect a lot from the jump? Well, we spent a lot of money on him, man, and it's kind of like I get my aspirations up, I get my hopes up, and we'll come on to 2 other players I think who have filled the void across this period. I expected a bit more from him. I can't go any more than a 5.5.
I like that score. I was going to go lower, but I think that's unfair. I think 5.5 is fine. I'm not. I don't know if you guys know listening. I think you, Steph, know. I wasn't the biggest fan of Jimenez when we brought him in. He was not my choice at all. I supported when he came to the club, and I'm happy he's here now. But he wasn't my choice. I wouldn't have spent that much on him. However, he has shown some promise. I think there are elements of his game that we don't have that I think he's very good at. However, he's got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And the red card yesterday was really quite petulant. I don't like that. Yeah. Although I genuinely do think, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's not been at the club long enough, and he does seem like, I might be a bit biased, like a good Catholic. He's a good Catholic lad, come on. Jimenez. Now, in all seriousness, he comes across like, his comment he made, I don't know if you guys heard about him being the first in the training ground and wanting to set a trend and get that mentality. I think that red card, although it was really stupid, if he does it ever again, you're going to get hell. I think that was his frustration of the season.
Yeah.
Like how the season's gone.
I
don't think that's his character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think this has been a learning period these last months for him. I am quite keen to see. When I look at him, I don't see a striker who is quite yet finished. A pure number 9. Like he's a great left foot on him, but like we'll come on to some strikers. I think he needs to work on the savviness on how to play against these defenders, specifically in low blocks. You're not going to get your way sometimes, and the best strikers in the past might get a couple of chances a game, and you have to be ready for that. And you cannot get yourself bogged down on, your form, or equally, defenders giving you a hard time. This is a league that makes or breaks a lot of people. So it's like, just get your head down, continue to work. I'm sure he will. He cares about the club. Obviously, he's a boyhood Milan fan as well. So I've still got time for him, but I think it's been a learning period for Jimenez. Cool.
Right.
Tammy. I've actually liked Tammy Abraham this season. Didn't have high hopes for him. We signed him at the end of the summer because we knew Morata wouldn't be enough, and Jovic, obviously, opinions on Jovic can be here or there. He's put up a lot of assists, and got some goals. Never was number 1 for us. It's a weird one, and I think because we're never committed to him long term. But I've liked Tammy. I think he's brought a different dynamic to our attacking line. I've always loved his energy. He's come on the pitch, he runs his arse off. I just think obviously there's just only so much that we're probably never going to get out of him. So I'm probably going to go for a 6 for Tammy Abraham.
I'm going to be a bit controversial here. Again, if people know my opinion on Tammy Abraham at the start of the season, I'm actually going to go 6.5 for Tammy because he genuinely won me over. Now, do I think we should sign him as a solution? No. Mm-hmm. Would I be open for us to signing him as a rotation striker if he's happy with that role? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think he'd be brilliant. But I repeat, do not think he is our striker solution. I think the manager might think that if they do sign him. But I think his hold-up play has been brilliant. His passing has been fantastic. His finishing at times has been really bad. But what he does have that Jimenez, I agree, doesn't have is his positioning in the box is quite nice. He does get into really dangerous areas. And I think you throw a Tammy Abraham on in the 80th minute of a big game or, the 75th minute against tired legs, I think he'll cause most defenses a bit of problem. Yeah. Just because of his size. So I think a 6.5. He won me over, mate. He did this season.
Yeah, that's interesting what happens with the backup striker spot this summer.
So he's not our out-and-out striker solution, and I don't think he ever will be. Let me be clear on that, though.
Yeah. Which makes it interesting for next year because without Europe, it's kind of, you need a backup striker, but like who doesn't get the development time without, between Jimenez and Kamada as well, but cool. And then lastly, we can probably talk about some youngsters, but we'll end up with
let's just focus on Jovic, I think.
Yeah. Jovic. You might laugh at this, man, but looking at game time, expectations low, game time minimal. So I'm only really waiting this off the last couple of games he played towards the end of the season. Played a bit at the start, but once again, his head wasn't there. They were going to sell him. So based off that game time and his output, I'm going for a 7. I think he is. He's given our strikers something to think about on the way that they play the game. Great hold-up play, crucial goals against Inter. I don't know if he's with us next year, but and to think he started the season in good form and he just went to shit. He was out of the squad. He was supposed to be sold in the summer, supposed to be sold in winter, yet he still thought to himself, I'm still going to give something to this squad, something to this team in a moment where we needed it. And I can't help but commend that, man. So I'm going to go for a 7.
Yeah. Do you know what? Again, like Tammy Abraham, I can't change my logic. And like what we said at the start of the video, I've got to look at the expectation I have for the player compared to output as a major factor. And I agree. I think a 7's fair. I really did not rate Jovic at all. The Jovic, Gabriel Jesus discussion pending. We'll come on to that one day, listeners. I'm sure you guys tuning in will hear that properly one day. But anyway, he's been brilliant. Yeah. I think he's also shown that he's like finally matured. I think he's finally got it in his head, like what playing at a big club is about. Like I finally think at 27, he's like actually matured. I know that sounds mad, but I can see it in his it feels like in his psyche and in the way he goes about it. So again, like a Tammy Abraham, I think I'd be happier keeping Jovic actually over Abraham because I think we can get more advantageous salary and things like that. The deal would be easier to do with Jovic. We won't have to pay a penny at all, and we can keep Salamak as a separate deal. I'm happy with Jovic to stay, but again, he's not the solution. And I think if he did stay, I'd want him having less minutes than Tammy Abraham if he were to stay. And the reason I say that is because I think Jovic is a really good second choice, certain match /
Oh yeah, even last year he was bread and butter, like off the bench. This guy was scoring.
That's what he's good at.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, 7.
Fair, man. I don't know if there's any other I don't want to cover about like Morata and
no, I don't think we need to. I think
there's no need for it. And then obviously youngsters as well. Bartezaghi and Camarda. Those are kind of all very NA players for me.
I agree.
So yeah, I think that's it. I think let's probably end it with what was your favorite game of the season?
Favorite game of the season? Honestly, I think it has to be the Super Coppa win. Not because it was a trophy, but that comeback was just mad.
Incredible.
After, and also we thought we were really bad at that time under Fonseca. To think it's gotten worse is obviously a different thing, but we were like as depressed as we are now then, and it was amazing. For me, it has to be the Super Coppa.
I think you could look at obviously quite a few Inter wins this year. I'm tempted to go Real Madrid, the 3-1 in the Bernabeu. However, I think I'm going to go for the 2-1 win against Inter towards the start of the year in September.
Interesting.
Obviously that was the first time we beat them in like quite a long time.
True.
And Gabbia last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it was a good goal. That
I mean, I didn't do the live stream, but I fucking threw my dogs like the steps across the room because I was just like, it's just like, I don't know. There's a period of time. Obviously, there were some fleeting moments where we're just proud about the club this year, but that was, I look back on that as like a young kid, and it's scary because it's only been like 9 months ago. But
I know it feels like a different life, doesn't it, mate?
But man, it's good. Yeah, it's quite interesting. We're both going for derby games there, but man. So that was good to go through that. Obviously, well, good to an extent, but I
hope everyone enjoyed an extra long episode of and what your ratings are. We want to know if we're
whether you just slap them all in, use your list, and you do out of 10s. I think anything else before you want to sign off, mate?
No, looking forward to obviously chatting next week. Gonna have a nice holiday on Wednesday off to Greece, so it's gonna be nice, living life, and we're back. Forget about Milan. I'm not even gonna watch the Monza game. Honestly, I couldn't care less. I'm gonna switch off.
Chilling.
And then back chatting Milan next week.
Nice.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, man. Look, I guess I'll say enjoy the last game of the season, fans, Milanisti, but just try to enjoy the summer, I guess, more so. Try to outside of the club and
we'll be here covering it with the other boys. So
soundboards continue, keep throwing your hates in the comment section. But cool. All right, mate. Good, a pleasure as always.
Perfect. Cheers.
Ciao.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, ciao. Thanks for listening.